Okay, I've got a story to tell you about my son, who shall remain nameless. When he was about, 3 or 4 years old, his mom got him a blanket. And he couldn't say blanket, so he called it Kiki. And his mother, being as she is, bought a pure white blanket. And, she knew that it was going to be coming over to my house. We were divorced by that time. And it was a pure white blanket. How crazy can you be? So he brought it over, Kiki. And he loved Kiki, and he is always hugging and kissing on Kiki, and I never really got the thing myself, but, he loved this blanket. So, he brought it over, and he was dragging it all over my house, which, was picking up, a lot of the stuff, so, he ended up taking it home with him, and I was kind of okay with that, because his mom was a real clean freak, so, hey. So, anyway, it's not trying to get back at her or anything. It's just, well, anyway. Okay, so she washed it a lot, right? Because it was dirty a lot. So, and it was one of these really thin things, right? And it come apart after being washed so many times. So, good old grandma, she was always there. So she was going to sew it back together, no matter how many times it took, because he loved dirty Kiki. So she sewed it back together so many times, I come to refer to it as Frankenstein Kiki. And after a while, it got to be dirty Frankenstein Kiki, right? Well, his mother hated the whole thing. She wanted to get rid of the whole thing. And of course, my son wasn't going for that, So, she finally came to the idea, wait a minute, Grandma keeps sewing it together, why don't we just keep part of it at his house and keep the other part at her house, right? So that makes sense. So she got cleaned up, Kiki, and we got dirty Frankenstein Kiki over at my house, right? It's like Siamese twins, one's separated. Anyway, so one day she decided that he was getting too old to have Kiki. So she called me and said, we're getting rid of Kiki. And I said, nah, we're not. She goes, yeah, I'm getting rid of Kiki from my house. It's your job to get rid of Kiki at your house. I said, I'm not getting rid of dirty Frankenstein Kiki. He loves the thing. I'm keeping dirty Frankenstein Kiki. So, anyway, he comes over to my house one time, and he's just broken up. Where's dirty Frankenstein Kiki? Because he had to hug and kiss and everything on it, because he missed it so bad, because the clean Frankenstein Kiki ran away. And he didn't know where it went, but it was suddenly gone. He looked everywhere, couldn't find it. It was just suddenly gone. But at least he's got dirty Frankenstein Kiki in my house. So, every week he'd come over, and he loved dirty Frankenstein Kiki. Well, all of a sudden, it ended up missing. I did not get rid of it. I really didn't. It just ended up missing, and we looked everywhere for it. Couldn't find it anywhere. I was beginning to think it was one of these, the dryer and the sock thing, right? It just goes away. Nobody knows. And then it suddenly reappears. So I tell my son about that, and I tell him, one day it'll come back. Just keep watching the dryer. It'll come back, Well, lo and behold, one day I'm actually doing the laundry. I got his shirts, and I was in his bedroom, and I was hanging them up, and he was sitting near his bed, and all of a sudden he got this blood-curdling scream, right? And he comes running to me like 90 miles an hour, and I immediately cover my kneecaps, because I don't know what he's going for. You gotta watch. You gotta be careful of that stuff. So, anyway, he runs up to me, and he rips dirty Frankenstein Kiki off the back of the shirt. You know, and I'm like, well, look at that. Dirty Frankenstein Kiki, where you been? You know, and stuff. And he's hugging and kissing on this thing and everything. And, you know, now there's a real dilemma here because he can't leave it here because my house, because it's dangerous here. And he knows what happens if he takes us to his mom's house. So, I mean, he's like thinking about getting a safety deposit box or something, right? So, anyway, his mom shows up, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to her. And we're in very dangerous territory here anyway. You know, and so she opens the door, and she's standing there, and there goes my son out the door, hugging and kissing on Dirty Frankenstein Kiki. You know. And she looks at me and she gives me one of these things, you know, and points at it, you know, and that's, you know, sign language for I expect an explanation, right? You know, and so I don't know what to tell her, and I thought, well, what the heck, give it to her, you know. So I looked at her, and I dead serious. I said, I swear to you, I thought it was a wash rag. And, you know, she turned the most interesting color of purple. You know, it was really kind of, actually, I kind of liked it. She probably should have kept it. Okay, that's it. The end.